Hey Aquarius, welcome to April. So Aquarius, nothing insanely crazy for you this month, except, you're already dealing with Pluto, the planet of transformation and change that entered your sign back in November. So that's kind of enough for you to deal with. And Pluto will begin its retrograde in May. So it'll be going back into the earlier degrees, the beginning degrees of Aquarius. So any of you early end Aquarians, you're definitely going to be feeling Pluto's movement a lot, especially if there's things that you haven't taken care of all the way. Like if there's things that have to change, but you haven't quite done it yet, the retrograde period in May is going to help you out, review those things again and get a fresh outlook on it. Now, you do have a square with the planet Uranus, the oh wow planet, in the earth sign of Taurus, which is a fixed sign, and you're a fixed sign, Aquarius. So you make the 90-degree angle. That's been going on for a while, so you're probably kind of used to that. You still have the trine, the positive aspect going on with Jupiter, the planet of luck, blessings, and expansion, in the mutable sign of Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and you're an air sign, Aquarius. So you make a nice trine. So you do have luck on your side, so to speak. And so take advantage of that because that only continues until May. Now, Mars, the planet of action, that's been hanging out in the sign of Cancer for almost 6 months now. We've talked about in the April month ahead that it doesn't usually stay that long in a sign. And because of its retrograde period, it was hanging out in the watery sign of Cancer for almost 6 months. But Mars is finally going to make its move into the sign of Leo on the 18th of the month. And if you think about it, Leo is the sign across from you. So Mars is going to be in opposition to you starting on the 18th of the month. And so oppositions, one side wants one thing, one side wants the other. So you're going to be prompted to take action, especially heart-based action, because it's in the sign of Leo. Leo rules things like dating, and it rules joy, and it rules children because children have such joy in their heart. So I think you're going to be like stagnancy is going to be over because you're being prompted to change with Pluto there. You're being prompted to take action with Mars across from you. Okay, that'll last for a few weeks. So this might be a time where you really start getting things done. You start taking action. But again, waiting until after the 15th of the month due to all the retrogrades. And you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that you want to make the moves, and at least wait till the 15th. But you keep hearing me say that ideally waiting to the 1st of May feels like a better choice to me for serious matters. Okay. Now we have the Libra full moon this month, and that's going to be trining you. So that's going to be lovely. I get a lot of vibes about, like if you're single, I feel like Mars is written as a symbol for men. And we know Libra full moon is ruled by Venus, and Venus is going to be finishing up its retrograde this period. And Aquarius, you're associated with friends and large groups of people. I just feel like if you've been waiting to, like, if you've been trying to meet people and you've been avoiding online dating, you might want to consider it in the month of April, or at least in the month of May, or at least like mid-month of April, because it's just, there's an opportunity there to meet people. And I know nobody wants to date online, but it's showing up that it could be a good possibility for you to meet people. In general, there's vibes of relationships this month because of the Libra full moon and then the Taurus new moon, both Venus ruled, and especially that Libra full moon because it's trining you. Okay. So for more information on that, head over to the April month ahead and take a listen to that. So I think it's pretty good stuff for you, Aquarius. I think you're going to feel pretty good. Like the stagnant energy is going to start to end. Now the moon moves into the sign of Aquarius on Sunday the 20th, which is Easter, at 7:22 p.m. It stays there Monday the 21st, Tuesday the 22nd or Wednesday the 23rd until 1:07 a.m. So those are power times for you, Aquarius. So let's go into the cards here. What I did was I'm using the zodiac wheel, and I like it because it kind of covers all areas of your life. And we're just going to see what card you get for the month. And I keep switching up how I'm doing it. So please comment and tell me what you like and don't like. I really could use the feedback. So the card in the middle is going to be your card of the month. The card in the middle is going to represent basically overall how you're going to feel, what themes are going on. Okay, so let's see what we have there. Haven't looked at any of these yet. Ooh, the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so this is a beautiful card to have as your theme for the month because it's an ace, which is a 1, which brings in fresh energy. And I think of aces as lucky. And this is Ace of Earth, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Value. You know, some people just call Pentacles money. And that's not me. I don't always think of it that. But this Ace of Pentacles shows me that there's plenty, that there's bounty. It almost feels like this is like somebody's summer chateau, and you know they're coming back to it. There's fresh, spring is here, and everything's been taken care of for you. Okay, that's the vibe that I get. It's really beautiful. So maybe you're coming home, maybe you're visiting family. Okay, so let's go into each zodiac house and see what we have for you this month, Aquarius. So we start off in the first house, Aries house. We're in Aries season right now, and we know the planets are going to start making their way into Aries more and more, moving out of Pisces. So we are going to have more clarity. And so this is the house of your public image, the house of I am. And we have the 8 of water, the 8 of cups traditionally. This is Valerian. This is from the Herb Crafters Tarot, one of my favorite decks. And I just think this is so calming and beautiful and nurturing. And 8 of Cups, Valerian. Now, 8 of Cups is usually when you see someone walking away from 8 Cups, right? The traditional version is a man walking away from, and there's an eclipse in the background, okay? Now, we know we had an eclipse. We had 2 eclipses in the month of March. We had the lunar eclipse around the 14th of the month. That was the purging eclipse. And then the 29th of the month, we had, along with the Aries new moon, we had the partial solar eclipse that's said to bring us things. So it's interesting to see an eclipse. We see someone who's maybe stepped away from life a little bit and taking some alone time, and the tea is there, and it just feels so soothing. So your public image, who you are, I am, there's choices being made here of soothing, softening energy, and I really like it. And it's a choice, okay? Because we know with the 8 of Cups, a lot of times it's when people will say to us, what are you doing? Why did you leave? Where are you going? Questioning it because maybe things looked good and people don't understand your choices. But we see the 8 of Cups here, that this is a choice that you've made to take this time, this quiet, gentle time. Now, the second house is Taurus's house. Some people call it the house of money. I call it the house of value. It's a Venus house. And we have the Knight of Wands showing up here. So Knight of Wands is like the bad boy of the tarot deck. And so we see like forward, fiery movement here in the house of things that are important to you. And, you know, we already noticed some love themes for you this month. And so I see you taking action, right? Venus is retrograded back into Pisces, but once it goes direct, it's going to come back to Aries. So it'll be in that fire sign. So, don't be afraid to make a move. Don't be afraid to, to approach someone and say hello and see if there's any connection. Now, third house, how you communicate, Gemini's house. It also has themes of your environment. And another beautiful soothing card here, another teapot. The 3 of Cups here. This is lemon balm. And so it looks like you're having a little tea party. And it looks like 3 cups are set. So maybe you're having some friends over. And so there's more of this gentle, soothing energy. And so this is the house of your environment. So it looks like maybe you're hosting and enjoying, but it's like the simple things. Like, you don't have to go crazy to host someone, right? You put on a pot of tea. Maybe they picked up some cupcakes at a bakery and just enjoying and not overcomplicating socializing. Now, the 4th house is Cancer's house. It's ruled by the moon, and it's the house of the home, and it's the house of family. It's the house of your root chakra. I think of it as like how we nurture ourselves, and it's a psychic house because it's a water house. And here we have the Seven of Wands. And you got some skunk medicine going on here, okay? There's a lot going on. There's a lot coming at him. He's got his tail up like he's going to retaliate here. So you have to choose really wisely who you are letting into your home, because not everyone is, almost like don't invite everyone, okay? Be choosy, because you don't want to have confrontation in the home, and you don't want to have to, like, it's almost like stink up the vibes of your home with some bad energy. So Seven of Wands, a lot coming at you. Make sure you take some time to nurture yourself. Make sure that you're not letting things go so much that you like, the skunk has to spray his stench, right? Like, catch things earlier so they don't have to become problematic. Also skunk, I think of skunk medicine about like what vibe we're putting out, what scent we're putting out, right? Our bodies put off scents, and, it's part of chemistry for attracting a mate, right? Isn't that what it's about? So, really considering like what vibes you're putting out, what scent you're putting out. Now, we go into the 5th house, which is Leo's house. This is the house opposite to you in the zodiac. And this is the house of creativity, and it's joy, and it's the heart chakra, and it rules romance, and it also rules children because of their joy. And you've got the Courage card here from the Osho Zen Tarot. So I think this would be the Strength card. And the flowers pushing through what looks like could be impossible. There's a lot of power here, and there's courage. So I encourage you to, step up, ask people to do things, make friends, try to put yourself out there, pick up a few cupcakes, put on some water, invite a couple people over for some tea. Okay. So the courage to step up and reach for the joy that you want. Now, we go into the 6th house, and the 6th house is Virgo's house. It's the house of work and routines and health. And I think of it as the house of like your contribution to society, the house of service versus servitude. And the 9 of Wands shows up. I got this ram here. He's, I'm sure he's climbed up some rocky mass to get up to the top here. There's a lot going on, okay? But there's almost like a pride to it. Like, he's really like, here I am, I'm up at the top. So I kind of get the vibe that there is a lot going on as far as work goes. There's a lot coming at you, kind of interfering with maybe resting and retreating. So 9 of Wands, they're in the 6th house. Now we are going into the 7th house, which is Libra's house of relationships, of legal matters. And this is a Venus house. And we have the King of Wands showing up here. Now, I often, not always, but sometimes when the court cards come out, I do take them as literal people. And so you've got a king showing up in your house of relationships. Now, the cards are non-gender, but a king goes after what he wants. And this is a fire king. And we're in Aries season most of the month. So I see you going for what you want, asking people, showing up, not being faint of heart. Okay. So we see somebody very powerful here showing up in your house of relationships. Now we head into Scorpio's house, and this is the house of sex, death, and taxes. And it's the house of transformation and change, death and rebirth. And so in the 8th house, you have the Green Man, and this is the Fool card. This is what the whole tarot deck is about. So the Green Man here, this is a reference to Beltane, which goes on this month. This is May 1st. It's actually May 1st, but I've included it in this reading. And so it's a pagan celebration of fertility. It is about the Green Man and the goddess. And so we see this very fertile energy, this very spring-like energy showing up. We see a celebration happening here, and it's in your 8th house. So I would say gather with people if you're invited to things, especially around April Fools. Go, show up, because even if you're not single, even if you're just looking to meet new people, there's opportunities here. There's people gathering. And I know, Aquarius, that you have mixed feelings about people, right? I joke about you being people persons who dislike people, right? That was a shirt we sold in our shop for a while. But you need to find the right people, align with the right people. And so there's some opportunities here in the 8th house, which is a house of transformation and change. And if you are single, this is a house of sex, and it's showing the opportunity to meet for newness, for fresh energy. Okay. Now, go into Sagittarius's house. This is the house of the bigger picture. This is the house of expansion because it's Jupiter's house. This is the house of higher learning. This is the house of publishing and foreign travel and the higher mind. I think of it as a house of philosophy. And we have the 8 of air here, the 8 of swords, and this is licorice. And I've talked about licorice before. It's one of my favorite plants. It's something that I think it's my plant. I think everybody has a plant that's meant for their bodies, and I think licorice is mine. So here's something. It's very sweet, and I put it into my water bottle every day. And keep in mind, I'm not an herbalist. I can't recommend these things to you, but I can tell you they're very commonly used. And licorice does lower blood pressure. So, I have to keep an eye on my blood pressure while I'm taking it, but I take high quantities of it because it helps my stomach, and it helps. I even put it topically. It's so good for skin. And so here's 8 of air, 8 of swords, 8 of thought. And this is often when we feel stuck, 8 of swords, where we keep looping through the same thoughts. And 8 of swords message is usually that of reminding us that we're free. And this is showing up in your house of freedom. Now, for the plant licorice, let's see what the book says. It says, know your limits and respect them. Proclaim your truth. Walk out through the gate. And I think of this as the house of truth. It's the house of freedom. So basically, the book is saying that, are you feeling fenced in by the circumstances in your life? Are you feeling isolated? And it's saying there's no shame in saying no. It says constant internal dialogue may have silenced you, but your body can no longer hold that story inside. Take responsibility for your thoughts and clear a path to freedom. Licorice heals the vocal cords. Speak your truth aloud to others, and it will give you power. Okay, so your house of freedom has freedom themes going on there. Speak your truth. Free yourself up. And there's such a sweetness to licorice, and there's such a sweetness in you freeing yourself up. Now let's go into the 10th house, which is Capricorn's house. This is often called the house of your career, but it's really about your long-term standing in the world, right? Not everybody's working in a career. Some people are home raising children, but this is the house of your legacy. This is the house of your reputation. It has to do with fame. And the page of Atham shows up, which is the page of swords. So it looks like there's a new idea. There's new thought. She's studying very deeply here. She's practicing her craft. So you may be showing up in some new ways business-wise. Maybe you have some things to learn. Maybe you're up late studying, but it's going to pay off for you. Interesting how those 2 cards are at the top of the chart. That's like the midheaven, which rains down over it. So the theme of new ideas and the theme of freeing yourself up from the thoughts that hold you. So with the level of sweetness coming in with licorice, just being kind to yourself. They're both air cards. You're an air sign, Aquarius, so you may have a lot of mental stimulation going on. So you got to really keep yourself grounded. Now we go into your house, Aquarius, the house of large groups of people, new ideas, forward-thinking ideas. It's a house of technology. It's a house of your goals and your dreams. And the Strength card shows up. Okay, so she's tending to all of these little bears. This is a Leo card. And remember, you're always in opposition to Leo, and then Mars is going to be there. So it's funny because you got the Strength card in Leo's house too. So you got strength and strength right across from each other. And I think of the Strength card as a card of balance, like not being too soft, not being too strong, finding middle ground, okay? So interesting double strength cards here. And, Mars, the planet of action, will be over here in the sign of Leo. So there's a lot of power here for you. And remember, Leo's the heart, and it's dating, and it's joy, and it's love, and it's children. So I really don't think you can go wrong here. I think it's a good month for you, Aquarius. Now we go into the 12th house, which is Pisces. It's a confusing house because it's a watery, psychic, karmic, foggy house. Okay. And so we have the Harmony card here. It's card number 10 from Osho Zen Tarot. And I use this more as an oracle than a tarot deck. Harmony, flowing water, dolphins. It looks like they're just leaping out of his heart. So this feels Pisces like, right? There's two porpoises there. Like Pisces is always seen as two fish. So there's a lot of creativity coming out of the heart, and he's taking the downtime to feel it and to experience it. So make sure that you are doing that. I get like, it's interesting. You got like almost an even amount of, you got started off with a lot of watery cards, some fire showed up, and then we went into the air cards. So I guess the only thing that didn't show up was earth. And so you're going to, the Ace of Pentacles was the first one that showed up. It was the Earth card there in the middle. So I feel like the Ace makes up for the fact that none of the other cards were Earth. So a lot of fresh energy for you, a lot of social energy, a lot vibes of like being proud of yourself and having some new ideas coming in, like clearing out the worry thoughts and the repetitive thoughts in your head, maybe writing some of those down, seeing, just kind of acknowledging, shining some light on the fact that maybe you're racing through the same thoughts. Maybe write that down and burn that list over the toilet and just flush it away. Make space for the fact that you got some really creative new ideas that want to come in, okay? And you got to take enough time out so you can kind of integrate that in and feel that. Now I'm going to roll you some dice. And you got the moon. Okay, moon in Aries in the first house. Moon, Aries, first house. So anytime the moon's in the first house, it can make us a little moody, but it can also make us very intuitive, okay? And Aries is now. It's the season. And in the first house, also Aries house. So there's things here about who am I? There's things about marketing your business or marketing whatever, if you have your own business and you're having to market things, it's showing up very strongly that maybe there's some rebranding going on or some new viewpoints of how you're marketing yourself. Or maybe it's just about how you're putting yourself out there. Maybe you've been attracting the same kind of people over and over again that doesn't work for you anymore. So now you're kind of refreshing that. Okay. So I do get a lot of social energy repeatedly in this reading. I'm going to throw some charms over the cards. There's just something about throwing these charms. It just feels good. Okay, let's see what we have here. So you're looking for names and you're looking for initials and anything that really stands out to you. Now, we've got the word cab. We've got some blanks here so we can make the word calm. I see the word, let's see. The word good is right here. And we've got this little tag up here that looks like it fell in the 8th house that says one tree planted on top of the green man, which looks like a tree. You have a little coyote or wolf howling at the moon up there in the 10th house, which is interesting because she's out there at night. Now you have a symbol here. What does that say? That is Sagittarius. It looks like it also showed up in the 10th house. So maybe you'll be doing some traveling for work. You've got a little train here in the 12th house along with the letter H. Well, I don't know what that is. Some kind of stone there in the first house, along with a cactus in the first house. And a little Mary symbol here in the second house, along with a fairy. Okay. And the letter Y here in the third house and a blank. And I see the word Bill, B-I-L-L, or the name Bill. I see the word Bain, B-A-I-N. I see the word help when I use the blanks. and the name Abe, along with the word Libby and the word Lane, the name Lane. Okay, in the middle, we have an angel wing and a measuring tape. Okay, and it says 25 on the measuring tape. Okay, so you can see if you can make anything, if you notice anything that jumps out to you. Now, let me give you a couple power days for the month. I already gave you your dates based on your sign, but let's talk about off of the dice. Okay, so basically, oh, I think I knocked that to say Venus. It was the moon. Okay, so the moon rules the sign Cancer. So we're going to give you some bonus days when the moon is in the sign of Cancer, which it moves into on Thursday, April 3rd at 6:50 p.m. It stays there Friday the 4th, Saturday the 5th until Sunday the 6th at 12:34 a.m. These are power times for you. You also rolled the sign Aries, and we have the moon moving into Aries on the 25th of April at 3:24 a.m. It stays there Saturday the 26th and Sunday the 27th until 3:17 a.m. So these are power times for you, Aquarius. Thanks for joining me.